What's going on, guys? Next mic up, back at it again, and today we gotta talk about Jamal Adams because what he's been doing the past couple weeks, even the past year, is kind of just out of control, and let's just cover everything that's happened so far. This is not the first time Jamal Adams and the Jets have had issues before. Dating back to October 2019, he was angry when GM Joe Douglas was listening to trade offers that other teams were calling him about with all players on the team, including Jamal Adams, and he felt like he should have been off limits like a player like Aaron Donald or Tom Brady. This is exactly what he had to say in this interview that I'm about to show you right now.
Hold myself at a high level. You know, the Rams don't take calls on Aaron Donald. The Patriots don't take calls on Tom Brady. You know what I mean? That's where I hold myself in that regard. So regardless of, I understand that you have a job to do. That's the way I took it.
Now, just after that interview I showed you guys, Jamal Adams went out and tweeted this the same day. At the end of the week last week, I sat down with the GM and Coach Gase and told them I want to be here in New York. I was told yesterday by my agent that the GM then went behind my back and shot me around the teams, even after I asked him to keep me here. Crazy business. Now, Jamal Adams sometimes I feel like is delusional, or he just wants to make things like bigger than what they actually are, because something like this just gets on my nerves, because it's like Joe Douglas straight out told you that the team was 1-7, and that he literally said that anybody on the team that he would listen to trade offers for, like any GM of any team could call him and listen. He's not going to counter offer. He just wants to hear what people have to say, what he thinks his players are worth. Is that a bad GM? I would think that's a good GM, if anything. So, I mean, the Jets and Jamal Adams have had issues dating back to since then. Sometimes I think it's just Jamal Adams just having this personality that he has, because I don't even blame the Jets for this. And then what happened this week is a whole nother thing that we're going to go into now. And this week on an Instagram comment, he says this: "It's time to move on. No hard feelings, nothing but love." Okay, like, what?
About you. I'll fucking do it again. Okay,
it's just the whole thing with Jamal Adams. It's like, what is this dude talking about? Because in his mind, I understand you want to get paid, you want to be a top paid safety, you want to be a top paid player in the league. But he also has 2 years left of control, and his 5th-year option is going to pay him pretty well. He obviously wants a long-term deal. But is right now really the right time to be doing that with the coronavirus and everything like that? Revenue is going to go down. You're doing this right now. And he really doesn't have a say on where he gets traded either. He even made out a whole list, which I'll show you right now. And then after that Instagram comment, a list of 7 teams gets tweeted out by Adam Schefter on which teams Jamal Adams says that he would be interested in being traded to, which were the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners, and Seahawks. Now, Jamal Adams has wanted to go to the Cowboys since basically he was okay with being traded to Dallas last season, mid-season. He didn't care.
What's up, bro? Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you coming to Dallas?
Hey, man, I'm trying, bro.
But all these 7 teams, is funny, is the fact that Jamal Adams, for one, obviously wants to play for a good team, because all of these teams were in the playoffs last year besides the Cowboys.
Surprise, surprise, motherfucker!
And for 2, he thinks he can go somewhere when he really has no say. If the Jets want to trade him to the Browns, they can trade him to the Browns. If the Jets want to trade him to the Jaguars, they can trade him to the Jaguars. They can trade him anywhere they want to trade him to, because there's really no option even in football where, I don't want to be traded. That's really only a basketball thing. So they can trade you wherever they want to. Like the Giants, they traded Odell Beckham to the Browns because they wanted to. There wasn't like Odell wanted to go here. They didn't care, because that's just the way football is. So Jamal Adams sometimes, it's just doing this, what does that do? And they don't have to trade him because of the whole, they have him under control for 2 more years, and they can trade him next year. They could even try to work out a contract. It's just, I don't understand why he would do it right now. That is my exact thing with him. It's just, why would you do this right now at this instant with everything going on? Why would any other team want to trade for you when you're acting like this? And the Jets obviously might have some dysfunction. We all know about that. But the fact that you can act like this when you're the one that wants a new contract and think another team's going to pay you that? Are you kidding me? Just for example, let's just look at some of the other players that held out or did something like that compared to Jamal Adams. Let's start there first. Now, I think it's fair to compare him to someone like Jalen Ramsey, obviously being a member of the secondary, just like Jamal Adams is. So this is what Jalen Ramsey happened when he was with Jaguars and obviously forcing his way out of there, not playing games, stuff like that. Everything was going on there, and they didn't want to trade him because they just wanted to keep him under control. Obviously, they had another year on him. He had his 5th-year option, which he's playing on this year with the Rams. The Jalen Ramsey saga has a Hollywood ending. The Jacksonville Jaguars are trading the disgruntled superstar to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks, 2020 and 2021, and a 4th-round pick in 2021 as well. Reported Tuesday by Ian Rappaport, the Jaguars later confirmed the trade. Tom Coughlin gave out this statement: "Given the situation with Jalen, we made the decision based on what we thought is in the best interest of the Jacksonville Jaguars for this season and well into the future. We feel the trade we struck with the Rams gives us great value for the next 2 drafts, and we remain confident that our team today will compete." Now, if I'm the Jets, this is the minimum I'm looking at. And I'm going to look at the other players too. But even if they were to trade him, 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick. They got 2 first in the consecutive drafts for Jalen Ramsey. Is Jamal Adams just as good as Jalen Ramsey in a
Hell no, to the no.
premier position like Jalen Ramsey is a cornerback, where Jalen Ramsey might be the best cornerback in the NFL, arguably, if not, cemented as the best cornerback in the NFL?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
And he's, 24, 25, just like Jamal Adams? It's one of those things with Jamal Adams, it's like, do you not think and Jalen Ramsey was almost on a team that went to the Super Bowl. They were like one play away from going to the Super Bowl when they played against New England, and they would have went to the Super Bowl and they could have won. And obviously everything went downhill. But what has Jamal Adams done in his NFL career? The team was 1-7, and then of course after everything he plays amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you, Jamal Adams had a great season after that. He made all-pro honors, everything like that, and then they ended up going 7-9. But are we giving all that credit to Jamal Adams, not Sam Darnold being in full health, not the Jets coming together, Adam Gase figuring out the offense a little bit, and just everything else? It's not just one player with Jamal Adams. And with Jalen Ramsey, we had everything like that, but I think it was more of just the Jaguars wanting to make a new regime and just everything like that, where the Jets, it's like they want to keep Jamal Adams on his team. They know how the collective bargaining agreement works. When you're drafted in the league, you have a certain amount of years with a team before you can really get paid, or before you can go out and do something else unless the team trades you. I don't think Jamal Adams really understands that. I think Jalen Ramsey kind of got it, and he waited out, and he still hasn't got a contract yet. He just didn't want to play for the Jaguars anymore, and they got 2 first-round picks for someone that didn't want to play for the team. Just think about that. And Jamal Adams is making a scene like that. So let's just look at somebody else besides Jalen Ramsey that's probably at a more premier position than Jalen Ramsey. Now, someone who is arguably the best defensive player in the league, him and Aaron Donald, was Khalil Mack. And he was traded from the Raiders only because the Raiders did not want to pay him $20-something million a year, because they decided to pay Derek Carr that. Let's see how that works out.
What's that supposed to mean?
But still, he didn't hold out. He didn't do anything like that. They were, they couldn't pay him. Or he did hold out, excuse me, but he didn't do it to the way that Jamal Adams, he didn't even hold out yet. You know what I mean? But it's just the fact that the way he's doing everything, and it's months in advance before the season even starts. But the Raiders had to move Khalil Mack because they couldn't pay him, and he was going to be gone anyways. And think about it, this was on his last year, and the Bears had to pay him when they traded him. The Raiders reportedly sent Khalil Mack a 2020 second-round pick and a conditional 2020 fifth-round pick for the Bears' first-round picks in 2019 and 2020, and a 2019 sixth-round pick. Now, think about it. This is for Khalil Mack. So both of these guys, Ramsey and Khalil Mack, have both gotten 2 first-round picks for their value. If they could get that for Jamal Adams, sure, we'll see how it works. But it's going to be tough for them to get that for Jamal Adams. I think a lot of teams are going to lowball them, because it's still one of the things where they got control for him. But is he as good as these guys? Does he do as much damage as these guys do? Like, Khalil Mack's a 15-plus sack guy a season. You know what I mean? Or he's just a disruptor. Even if he doesn't get 15 sacks, he should have had 15 sacks. He let another guy get the other sack. Like, that's the thing I think with Jamal Adams is he's such a versatile player. Yes, he could play in the box. He could do things like that. But Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald, you're getting your money's worth for them. And with this trade, are we getting that value for Jamal Adams if we're the New York Jets trading him? I think it's going to be very hard to get 2 first-round picks. Now let's look at the Aaron Donald situation. Now this is when Aaron Donald was going into on his 5th-year option. So he already played 4 years in the NFL. Aaron Donald's tier quest to become the NFL's highest-paid player finally ended in success Friday morning. And just a few minutes after signing his deal, Donald was at work on the Los Angeles Rams practice field for the first time in months, determined to keep doing the same things that made him so very wealthy. The All-Pro defensive tackle agreed to 6 years, $135 million, ending his second consecutive preseason holdout with a landmark commitment from the Rams. Now, he held out in 2 preseasons, but he didn't miss any regular season games, unlike Jalen Ramsey. I feel good right now, Donald said. To be back out here playing football again, that's what it's all about. Long process and a long wait. It was tough, definitely. It was tough for me, having a love for the game, having to push to that side and handle the business side. See, Aaron Donald, you can see, he loves playing the game. He loves playing with his teammates, and he backs up. We see Aaron Donald do some crazy stuff. He backs it up. What I feel like the thing with Jamal Adams is he talks about how he's such a leader, how he's such a captain, and a lot of players and even like fans of the Jets don't think that at all. They just think that he's a loudmouth that kind of just wants to get his own. And it's kind of like, you're going to talk about being a leader and a captain, you're going to do this. I don't see other players that are also doing that on your team that want to get paid. I don't see it. Maybe because they're not as big as you in your mind. But still, no one else is doing that, especially right now. And Aaron Donald's arguably the best player in the NFL that's not a quarterback. And I don't think that's up for much discussion. Like, just think about that. And he waited out, he sat out 2 preseasons. He did. He sat out his year 4 and his year 5 of his contract. And he ended up getting a 6-year, $135 million, which made him the highest paid player in the NFL for a non-quarterback at the time. And obviously it was worth the wait, but he also didn't do all the gimmicks. There's even I have another picture that I could show you that literally says that everything was done professionally by Donald and his team. Whereas Jamal Adams, like, has anything been done professionally? Everything's been on Twitter, little Twitter fingers, everything like that. Even Joe Douglas, when he comes on for interviews, he's always very nice about things, and even says like Adams is just doing his own thing. Like, I can't do anything about it, and it's not even like me and him have good discussions besides when he's not on Twitter. So I don't understand why he does things like this when you see other guys like Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack not doing stuff like that, and you're doing stuff like this. Do you think you're gonna get paid just as much as them, or be paid the highest paid player at your position? I don't think so. It even says right here in this article, the Rams managed to maintain a civil relationship with Donald throughout the 2 years of his difficult negotiations. Donald and his representatives were determined to make him one of the NFL's highest paid players at any position, but the Rams wanted to reward Donald while keeping their overall salary structure intact. I don't think you were ever miles apart, Rams general manager Les Snead said. Everybody with common sense knew Aaron Donald was at minimum going to be the highest paid defensive player in football. From there, you had to figure it out. Obviously, everything with Aaron Donald since rookie season, probably the best NFL defensive player since his rookie season, I'd say. Really close to almost every year he's been the best. Probably him or Khalil Mack. Maybe somebody else. J.J. Watt, maybe, when he was a rookie, something like that, when in Donald's rookie season. But he was able to maintain everything and do everything properly, unlike Jamal Adams, where he hasn't really done anything properly throughout the whole process. I didn't even know Aaron Donald did most of this stuff. You'd hear about him holding out in preseason, but even then, it was kind of kept quiet. We didn't know about it too much. We knew that he wasn't practicing, but we didn't know exactly what was going on contract situation-wise, everything like that. Aaron Donald wasn't tweeting out, like, I want to get out of here. Oh, it's time for change. Oh, they should pay me, like, stuff like that, like Jamal Adams does. So it's just like, you see guys like this acting professionally, and you're trying to get traded out of here, and you're a safety in the NFL. That's almost like a running back in the NFL sometimes. We're easily replaceable and draft a lot. Secondary members are one of the most draft positions in the NFL. I'm not saying Jamal Adams isn't a special player, but I mean, like, Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack type of special, that's questionable. I don't want this whole video to be like a Jamal Adams hate slander type of video, because I know that's what I'll get. But all I'm saying is the fact that where he's comparing himself to, it's just kind of crazy. So what I'm going to say is the fact that he is the 25th highest paid safety going into this season is kind of ridiculous. But he's also on his rookie contract. You got to think about these quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes still hasn't been paid yet, you know what I mean? And he's probably the best player in the NFL. Probably number one. I don't think it's much for debate, but Patrick Mahomes is probably the best player in the NFL. And Jamal Adams is on his 4th year of his rookie contract, and he's at the same timeline Patrick Mahomes is. Mahomes hasn't gotten his deal yet. So what is there really to complain about? I know you want to get your money, you want to get paid, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's tough to do that in the NFL. But I hope you guys like this Jamal Adams cover, everything like that. It's just been crazy, everything going on. It'll probably be another one if he does get traded. I don't see it happening personally, but who knows in the NFL? It's crazy. This has been Next Mic Up. I'll catch you guys in the next one.